Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a relationship, offering unwavering support, boundless energy, and even sacrificing your own needs, only to be met with a chilling indifference or outright rejection? That sharp sting of dismissal, the feeling that your efforts were utterly meaningless, is a universally painful experience. As men, societal pressures often dictate that we man up, suppressing our emotions and moving on without a second glance. But deep down, that rejection burrows into our core, eroding our confidence and planting seeds of self-doubt. The insidious questions begin. Was I not good enough? Did I make a critical mistake? What did I go wrong? These thoughts can quickly spiral into a destructive cycle of self-recrimination, leaving us feeling lost and unworthy. This vulnerability is often exploited, especially in the initial aftermath of rejection. Driven by a desperate need for validation, many men commit the same fundamental error. They chase. They bombard her with messages, initiate countless phone calls, and launch into explanations, desperately attempting to reignite a flame that has already flickered and died. They dissect their actions, searching for the magic words or perfect gesture that will magically reverse the situation. They become, in essence, supplicants, begging for a second chance, for a sliver of attention, for any sign that their efforts are not completely in vain. But here's the harsh truth. Chasing only exacerbates the problem. It relinquishes your personal power and reinforces the notion that your self-worth is contingent upon someone else's approval. It sends a clear message. I need you more than you need me. My happiness depends on you. This desperation, ironically, pushes the other person further away. It suffocates any lingering feelings of affection or attraction and often solidifies their initial decision to end the relationship. The chaser becomes a source of annoyance, a persistent reminder of a closed chapter. What if there were a more effective, a more dignified, and ultimately, a more powerful response to rejection? What if, instead of chasing, you embrace the profound and transformative power of silence? Now, this isn't about silence as a form of petty revenge or a manipulative tactic to inflict pain. This is about silence as a deliberate and strategic choice, a tool for self-control, personal growth, and the reclamation of your inner strength. It's about understanding that your value isn't determined by someone else's validation, but is inherent within you. It's about recognizing that true strength lies not in relentless pursuit, but in the quiet confidence of knowing your own worth. When you consciously choose to step back, when you remove your presence from her life, something remarkable begins to unfold. She starts to notice your absence. The comfortable routine she had grown accustomed to is disrupted. The subtle, often unnoticed, benefits of your presence become glaringly apparent. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the dynamic between you begins to shift. In this comprehensive exploration, we will delve into the multifaceted power of silence for men. We will uncover how it can transform not only the dynamics of a specific relationship, but also your overall sense of self and your approach to future relationships. We'll examine the psychological principles at play, explore the stages of her reaction to your silence, and provide practical guidance on how to effectively implement this strategy while remaining grounded in self-respect and personal growth. This is not about manipulating someone else. It's about empowering yourself. This journey will involve analyzing the typical reactions men experience when faced with rejection, understanding the motivations behind chasing behaviors, and learning how to redirect that energy into self-improvement. We will also discuss the importance of setting boundaries, cultivating self-reliance, and building a fulfilling life independent of any single relationship. This is a holistic approach, focusing on the development of a strong, confident, and resilient individual. Moreover, we will explore the ethical considerations surrounding the use of silence. It's crucial to understand that this is not about playing games or inflicting emotional pain. It's about creating space for both you and the other person to gain clarity, reflect on the situation, and make informed decisions. It's about acting with integrity and respect, even in the face of rejection. Ultimately, mastering the power of silence is about becoming a more grounded, self-assured, and emotionally intelligent man. It's about understanding that your worth is not defined by external validation, and that true strength lies in the ability to control your emotions, set boundaries, and prioritize your own well-being. This journey will empower you to navigate the complexities of relationships with greater confidence, resilience, and self-respect. So, prepare to embark on a transformative exploration of the unspoken power within, the power of strategic silence. Let's delve into the initial phase of this powerful strategy and understand what to expect. Phase 1. The initial indifference. When you initially commit to the path of silence, fueled by a renewed sense of self-respect and a commitment to personal growth, it's natural to anticipate an immediate reaction. You might envision her instantly recognizing your absence, her world shaken by the void you've created. You might expect a flurry of messages, a desperate attempt to reconnect, a sudden realization of your inherent value. However, the reality is often far different. In the initial stages, she likely won't even flinch. Her life, at least on the surface, may continue as though your absence is barely a ripple in her day-to-day existence. She might even experience a sense of relief, a newfound freedom to indulge in activities and relationships without the perceived weight of your presence. She may convince herself that ending the relationship was the correct decision, a necessary step towards her own happiness and fulfillment. Why does this happen? It's crucial to understand the underlying psychological dynamics at play. For a significant period, you've likely been a constant presence in her life. Your attention, your efforts, and your consistent support have become a familiar and predictable fixture. She has grown accustomed to your availability, perhaps even taking it for granted. She assumes, consciously or unconsciously, that this dynamic is permanent, that you will always be there, ready to offer your unwavering support. Therefore, your initial silence doesn't register as a significant loss. It's perceived as a temporary deviation from the norm, a brief pause in the usual flow of communication. She remains confident that you will eventually return, that you will inevitably break your silence and resume your pursuit. After all, you always have in the past. This is just a phase, she rationalizes, not a fundamental shift in your behavior. During this phase, she may even actively reinforce her decision to end the relationship. She might tell herself that she's finally free, able to focus on her own goals and aspirations without the distraction of your care and attention. She might immerse herself in distractions, spending more time with friends, posting carefully curated images on social media, engaging in superficial conversations, or pursuing new hobbies. The goal is to project an image of effortless happiness and independence, both to herself and to the outside world. On the surface, she appears unaffected, even thriving. She might post pictures of herself laughing with friends, attending social events, or embarking on exciting new adventures. She might even subtly signal her availability to other potential partners, reinforcing her belief that she has successfully moved on. But don't be fooled by this carefully constructed facade. This apparent indifference is often the calm before the storm, a fragile shield concealing underlying anxieties and uncertainties. It's a temporary defense mechanism, designed to protect her from confronting the potential consequences of her decision. For many men, this initial phase is the most challenging. Watching her appear indifferent, even happy, can feel like a painful rejection of everything you've invested in the relationship. The instinctive urge to reach out, to remind her of your presence, to plead your case, can be overwhelming. You might be tempted to send a carefully crafted message, designed to evoke sympathy or rekindle a spark. You might consider showing up unexpectedly, hoping to catch her off guard and reignite her interest. But this is precisely where most men falter. They succumb to their emotions, breaking their silence, and pursuing a validation that is unlikely to come. They fall into the trap of believing that if they just try harder, if they just explain themselves more clearly, they can somehow change her mind. Don't fall into this trap. Your silence isn't about her reaction. It's about reclaiming your power and asserting your self-worth. It's about understanding that your value isn't diminished by her indifference and that your happiness doesn't depend on her approval. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy emphasizing self-control, reason, and virtue, offers valuable guidance during this challenging phase. Stoics believe that we should focus our energy on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, and accept what we cannot control, the thoughts, feelings, and actions of others. Right now, her indifference is beyond your control. You cannot force her to feel a certain way or to change her mind about the relationship. What you can control is how you respond to her indifference. You can choose to react with anger, resentment, or desperation, or you can choose to respond with self-control, dignity, and a commitment to personal growth. This is your moment to channel your energy into self-improvement. Instead of dwelling on her lack of reaction, focus on cultivating your own well-being. Hit the gym, pursue a new skill, reconnect with friends and family. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Do the things that remind you of your inherent value, independent of her approval. As the days pass, her confidence in her decision might remain intact, but subtle cracks will begin to form beneath the surface. She might not be consciously aware of it, but the absence of your presence will gradually start to settle in. While she is busy enjoying her supposed freedom, she is unknowingly planting the seeds of regret. Your silence, though seemingly unnoticed at first, is working. It is providing her with the space to experience life without you, a life she thought she wanted. And while she may not realize it yet, that space is beginning to feel emptier than she anticipated. For now, your role is simple. Stay silent, stay disciplined, and stay focused on yourself. This stage is not about her. It's about you. It's about becoming the man who commands respect, the man who doesn't chase, doesn't plead, and doesn't beg. As long as you hold firm, the balance will begin to shift in ways you can't yet see. Remember this. Her initial indifference isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. Your silence isn't an absence. It's a statement. And that statement is saying, I know my worth, and I won't settle for less. So stay strong. The journey has just begun, and the real impact of your silence is yet to come. Let's move to the next phase to see how things will unfold. Phase 2. The first signs of emptiness. After the initial period of apparent indifference, when she seemed unfazed by your absence, a subtle but significant shift begins to occur. At first, your silence might have seemed like nothing more than a temporary pause, a brief interruption in the usual flow of communication. Life continued, and she carried on as though your absence didn't matter. But as time passes, something subtle starts to shift within her. It's not dramatic or obvious, but it's undeniably there. Those first signs of emptiness begin to creep into her world, slowly but surely undermining the carefully constructed facade of happiness and independence. It begins with the little things. She no longer sees your name pop up on her phone with a good morning text. The flowers that used to brighten her day are gone. The thoughtful gestures she once dismissed now feel like a distant memory. The comforting routine she had grown accustomed to is disrupted, leaving a void that is difficult to ignore. At first, she brushes it off. It's no big deal, she tells herself. I'll hear from him eventually. But deep down, a tiny voice whispers, what if I don't? This is the power of your silence. It's not loud or confrontational. It's quiet and consistent, like a shadow in the background that grows larger with time. And as it grows, so does the space you once occupied in her life. What she thought was a temporary pause now feels more permanent. It's in this permanence that the first cracks begin to form in her emotional armor. She starts to notice the void in her daily routine, the subtle ways in which your absence has impacted her life. It's in the moments when she reaches for her phone out of habit, only to realize there's no message from you. It's in the small reminders, a song on the radio, a place you used to visit together, a shared joke, that bring back memories she thought she'd moved past. These moments might seem insignificant, but they're the seeds of something much bigger. They're the subtle reminders of the connection you shared, the unique bond that is now missing from her life. They are the first signs that she might have underestimated the value of your presence. At this stage, she won't admit it, not to herself, and certainly not to anyone else. On the surface, she might still act like everything's fine. She'll continue to post pictures on social media, spend time with friends, and distract herself with activities. But behind the smiles and the carefully curated social media posts, there's a growing sense of discomfort. She doesn't fully understand it yet, but she feels it, a quiet emptiness that lingers no matter what she does. It's a nagging sense that something is missing, a subtle feeling of dissatisfaction that she can't quite put her finger on. For you, this stage is a test of patience. It's tempting to break the silence, especially when you sense she's beginning to feel your absence. You might be tempted to send a casual message, just to let her know you're thinking of her. You might consider reaching out to offer support or to share a funny story. But remember, the impact of your silence lies in its consistency. If you reach out now, you risk undoing all the progress you've made. You might inadvertently reinforce her belief that you're always available, that you'll always come running back, no matter what. This is the moment to stay strong and trust the process. Stoicism teaches us to embrace discomfort as a necessary part of growth. Right now, both you and she are feeling the strain of this silence in different ways. For her, it's the discomfort of realizing that life without you isn't as fulfilling as she thought. For you, it's the challenge of resisting the urge to seek validation. But this discomfort is where transformation happens for both of you. It forces her to confront the reality of your absence and to question her decisions. It challenges you to develop self-control, to prioritize your own well-being, and to resist the temptation to seek external validation. As the days turn into weeks, the signs of emptiness become harder for her to ignore. She might try to fill the void with distractions, late nights out, shallow conversations, even other people. But none of it works. The absence of your presence isn't something she can replace with surface-level interactions. It's deeper than that. It's the absence of your genuine care, your unwavering support, and your unique understanding. It's the absence of the comfort, security, and connection you provided. And the more she tries to avoid it, the stronger it becomes. For you, this is where discipline becomes crucial. Use this time to focus on yourself, your goals, your passions, and your personal growth. This isn't about waiting for her to notice your absence. It's about proving to yourself that you're strong enough to thrive without her recognition. Every day you stay silent is a day you invest in your own future. It's a day you dedicate to becoming a better version of yourself. It's a day you reaffirm your commitment to self-respect and self-reliance. The first signs of emptiness might seem small, but they're powerful. They're the beginning of her realization that what she lost wasn't just someone who cared. It was someone irreplaceable. And as those signs grow louder, so does the impact of your silence. Stay patient, stay focused, and remember the emptiness she's starting to feel is the foundation of a lesson she didn't know she needed. And for you, it's a reminder that your silence isn't just a reaction. It's a statement of your strength and self-worth. It's a testament to your resolve and your commitment to a better you. Let's keep moving to the next stage. Phase 3, the rising tide of discomfort. As more time elapses, the silence you've established starts to evolve into something she can no longer readily dismiss. What initially felt like freedom, a welcome break from your presence, now begins to feel increasingly unsettling. The subtle signs of emptiness have coalesced into a persistent discomfort, a nagging feeling that intrudes upon her quiet moments and undermines her attempts at happiness. The more she strives to ignore it, the more forcefully it creeps into her thoughts and disrupts her carefully constructed reality. At first, it manifests in subtle ways. She catches herself idly wondering why you haven't reached out, a fleeting thought that she quickly dismisses. She reassures herself that you're likely preoccupied or that you'll inevitably return, as you always have in the past. But deep down, the unwavering confidence she once held in your return begins to waver, replaced by a growing sense of unease. The silence is no longer simply a void in her routine. It's a mirror reflecting the choices she has made, and the reflection is starting to make her question herself. This discomfort is most palpable during those quiet, introspective moments. When she finds herself mindlessly scrolling through her phone, she's acutely aware of your absence. When she's out socializing with friends, she can't shake the feeling that something is missing. These moments of realization don't strike all at once. They accumulate gradually, like individual drops of water, slowly filling a glass. With each passing day, the glass inches closer to overflowing, threatening to spill over into her conscious awareness. She might attempt to further distract herself, immersing herself in social events, throwing herself into work, or even seeking fleeting connections with others. But no matter how relentlessly she tries to occupy her time, the underlying void persists. The distractions serve only as temporary band-aids, incapable of concealing the deeper wound that your silence has inflicted. The stability, the unwavering care, and the consistent attention you once provided are gone, and nothing she does seems to adequately fill the resulting gap. This stage can be particularly impactful for someone who is relatively new to your life. She might have genuinely believed that she could move on without a second thought, confident that her decision to distance herself from you was the right one. But now, she's beginning to feel the full weight of that choice. Each interaction with someone else, each fleeting connection, only serves to highlight what she is truly missing. She begins to compare others to you, not just consciously, but on a deeper, more emotional level. And those comparisons rarely end in their favor. For someone who had been a more integral part of your life for a longer duration, the discomfort runs even deeper. She might have taken your presence for granted, believing that no matter how distant she became, you would always be there, a constant and reliable presence in her life. Now, as the silence stretches on, she begins to realize the fallacy of that assumption. The life she envisioned, a life that would feel liberated and complete without you, now feels heavier, colder, and more isolated than she ever anticipated. The absence she once dismissed as insignificant has transformed into a weight she can no longer ignore. From your perspective, this stage presents both a test and an opportunity. The discomfort she is experiencing is a natural consequence of the boundaries you have established. This is not about seeking revenge or punishing her for her choices. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your inherent self-worth. While she's grappling with her unease, you have the opportunity to focus on what truly matters, your own personal growth and development. Stoicism provides a valuable framework for navigating this phase. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of accepting what you cannot control and focusing your energy on what you can. You cannot control her feelings, her thoughts, or her actions, but you can control your own reactions, your own choices, and your own commitment to self-improvement. During this stage, it's absolutely crucial to resist the urge to break the silence. You might feel tempted to check in, to see how she's coping, or to subtly remind her of your presence. But doing so would only undermine the progress you have made. Your silence is working, not just on her, but on you. It's cultivating patience, self-control, and the ability to let go. As the days turn into weeks, her discomfort will inevitably intensify, evolving into something she can no longer easily escape. She will find herself thinking about you more frequently, wondering what you're doing and whether you have moved on with your life. With each passing day, the realization that she may have lost you for good becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. For you, this stage serves as a powerful reminder of how far you have come. The man you were at the beginning of this journey, the one who might have chased, begged, or pleaded for her attention, is no longer present. You have transformed into someone who values himself enough to walk away from situations where he is not respected or appreciated. And that transformation is precisely what makes your silence so incredibly powerful. The discomfort she is feeling now is only the beginning. It's the first step toward her understanding the true value of what she has let go of, and it's a testament to the profound impact you have had on her life. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and trust the process, because this discomfort isn't just a reflection of her choices. It's a reflection of your unwavering growth. Continue to hold your ground and remember the journey you are on. Phase 4. The struggle to fill the void. As the silence persists, the void you created in her life becomes increasingly difficult for her to ignore. What began as a subtle discomfort has intensified into a persistent ache, a nagging emptiness that she realizes she needs to address. Her initial instinct is to fill this emptiness, to find something, anything that can restore the sense of wholeness she once felt. But this is where the real struggle begins, because what she's searching for isn't something she can easily replace. She starts with the typical distractions: nights out with friends, new hobbies, endlessly scrolling through social media. Anything to keep her mind occupied, to provide a brief escape from the silence, a way to avoid confronting what's missing. For a fleeting moment, these activities might seem effective. They offer a temporary reprieve, a momentary illusion of happiness and fulfillment. But distractions only go so far. The void is still there, lurking in the quiet moments, waiting for her to be alone with her thoughts. The fleeting excitement of a night out fades, the novelty of a new hobby wears off, and the endless scroll of social media only reinforces the feeling that something is fundamentally lacking. Eventually, she attempts to fill the gap with new connections. Maybe she starts dating again, engaging in superficial conversations, or reconnecting with an old flame. On the surface, it might seem like she's moving on, that she's found a way to replace you. But underneath, these efforts often fall short of providing any lasting satisfaction. Why? Because what she's truly seeking isn't just another relationship. It's the depth, the stability, and the authenticity that you brought to her life. And no matter how hard she tries, those qualities aren't easily replicated. The people she meets might seem exciting or interesting at first, but as time goes on, the inevitable comparisons begin. She notices the subtle differences, the ways in which they don't understand her like you did, the way they miss the small details you always remembered, or the way the conversations lack the depth and substance she once took for granted. These realizations accumulate slowly, creating a growing sense of frustration and disappointment. For someone who is relatively new in your life, this stage can be particularly eye-opening. She might have assumed you were easily replaceable, that any other man could effortlessly step into your role. But now, she's starting to recognize that what you offered wasn't ordinary. It was something rare and valuable. And every failed attempt to replicate, it only reinforces the realization of what she has lost. For someone who had been a more integral part of your life for a longer duration, this frustration cuts even deeper. She might have believed she could explore other options while still keeping you as a fallback, someone she could always return to when things didn't work out. But now, as the silence persists, she's confronted with the harsh reality that you're no longer waiting. Those shallow connections she thought could replace you don't offer the same level of loyalty, understanding, or emotional depth that you consistently provided. This stage is often characterized by intense internal conflict. She might begin to question whether she made the right choice in letting you go. Was I too quick to move on? Did I underestimate him? These questions linger, growing louder with each failed attempt to fill the void you left behind. While she wrestles with her doubts and uncertainties, you are continuing to grow stronger, more confident, and more self-assured. For you, this stage is a crucial turning point. It's easy to fall into the trap of wondering if someone else is doing what you used to do for her, if they are now the recipient of her affection and attention. But remember, the unique value you brought to her life cannot be duplicated. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and what you can control is your own growth and mindset. Let go of the need to compare yourself to others and instead focus on becoming the best version of yourself. As her frustration intensifies, so does her awareness of what she has allowed to slip away. She begins to realize that the people she's meeting don't measure up to the standard you set. They don't provide the same sense of security, understanding, or connection. And with each failed attempt to find a replacement, The void you left behind feels larger, more significant, and more permanent. For her, this stage is a humbling experience. It forces her to confront the reality that not all connections are created equal, and that what she had with you wasn't as easily replaceable as she initially thought. For you, it's an empowering reminder of your inherent worth. By maintaining your silence and focusing on your own growth, you have demonstrated both to her and to yourself that you're not just another option. You're someone who commands respect and leaves a lasting impact. As this phase draws to a close, her frustration gradually shifts into something deeper: regret. But for you, it's a victory. You've remained true to yourself, resisted the urge to chase, and proven that your worth isn't defined by someone else's recognition. Keep moving forward with your head held high, because the best is yet to come. Phase 5. The inevitable arrival of regret. Regret is a slow-creeping force, not a sudden, overwhelming tidal wave. It builds gradually over time, fueled by the growing realization of what she has irrevocably let go. By this point, she has confronted the discomfort of your absence, endured the frustration of her failed attempts to replace you, and now she stands face to face with an undeniable truth. She has made a profound mistake. At first, the regret surfaces in quiet, unguarded moments. She remembers how you always made her feel seen, valued, and genuinely supported. She replays those memories in her mind, focusing on the small acts of kindness, the inside jokes that only you two shared, the unique way you seemed to understand her on a level that others never could. Each memory is like a thread, meticulously weaving together a vivid picture of what she once had and what she has now irrevocably lost. And with each passing memory, the weight of that picture grows heavier, pressing down on her with the force of her growing regret. She might not openly admit it, not to herself, and certainly not to anyone else, but the regret is there, lurking beneath the surface. It manifests in the way she hesitates before sending a text message to someone else, wondering if you would even respond if she reached out. It's in the way she secretly looks through old photos or scrolls back through old text messages, searching for traces of the connection she once took for granted. These actions might seem insignificant, but they're driven by a much deeper realization. She let go of something incredibly rare, something undeniably valuable, and she might never find it again. For someone who is relatively new in your life, this stage can be particularly humbling. She might have initially believed she could move on without a second thought, that letting you go was just another decision in a long list of choices. But now, she's beginning to see that what she lost wasn't ordinary. It wasn't just another fleeting connection. It was something that brought genuine meaning and stability to her life, something that cannot be easily replaced. For someone who had been an integral part of your life for a longer duration, the regret cuts even deeper. She might have believed she truly knew you, that she fully understood your value. But now, as the silence stretches on, she realizes she drastically underestimated you. The life she once envisioned, a life that would feel complete and fulfilling without you, now feels empty and hollow. And that emptiness is a constant, painful reminder of the mistake she made. From your perspective, this stage is a testament to your own personal growth. The regret she is experiencing is not something you caused. It's the natural consequence of her own choices and actions. Stoicism teaches us to let go of what we cannot control, and her regret falls squarely into that category. It is not your responsibility to fix her, to ease her discomfort, or to alleviate her pain. That is her burden to carry, not yours. As the regret deepens, she might feel an increasing compulsion to reach out to you. This could manifest in various ways. It might start with a casual message, subtly testing the waters to gauge a reaction. Or it could take the form of a more vulnerable apology, an attempt to express her remorse and acknowledge the pain she has caused. Regardless of how she chooses to express it, the underlying message remains the same. She now understands what she has lost. But here's the crucial point to remember. Her regret is not the ultimate goal of your silence. It is simply a byproduct, a natural consequence of the choices she has made. The real goal was always about reclaiming your own personal power, your own self-confidence, and your own sense of self-worth. This is where many men stumble and falter. When she expresses regret, the temptation to rush back into her life can be incredibly strong. After all, hearing someone finally acknowledge your value, after a period of silence and rejection, can feel immensely validating. But you must remember that this entire process is not about seeking her recognition. It's about maintaining the boundaries you have established and reinforcing the inner strength you have cultivated throughout this journey. If you choose to engage with her, do so strictly on your own terms, not hers. Don't allow her to dictate the pace or the direction of the conversation. Remember that you're now operating from a position of strength, and you must maintain that position. For her, regret is a powerful and often painful teacher. It forces her to confront the consequences of her actions and to fully realize the true value of what she has let go. For you, it's a powerful reminder of your own personal growth, a testament to the strength you have discovered within yourself. The man who might have chased, begged, or pleaded for her attention is no longer present. You have evolved into someone who understands his own worth, someone who is unwilling to settle for anything less than he deserves. As this stage draws to a close, her regret reaches its peak. She is left wondering if she will ever find someone like you again, if she has permanently lost the connection she once so carelessly dismissed. And for you, it's a moment of profound clarity, a chance to see how far you have come and to recognize the incredible strength you have gained throughout this transformative journey. Regret may be unavoidable for her, but for you, it's simply a stepping stone, a powerful piece of evidence that your silence wasn't just powerful, it was truly transformative. So stand tall, hold firm to your convictions, and remember that you have already won. This journey wasn't just about her. It was about you, about rediscovering your inner strength, reclaiming your inherent self-worth, and proving to yourself that you don't need anyone else's validation to feel whole. Phase 6. Embracing the aftermath and moving forward. This journey wasn't just about her. It was about you. It was about rediscovering your strength, reclaiming your self-worth, and proving to yourself that you don't need anyone's validation to feel whole. Your silence wasn't a punishment or a manipulative tactic. It was a declaration of self-respect. It was your way of saying, I know my value, and I won't settle for less. Through this process, you've shown her, and most importantly yourself, that you're not just an option, you're the standard. The absence you created wasn't empty. It was filled with power, growth, and transformation. While she spent this time grappling with discomfort, frustration, and regret, you've been building a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and growth. Everything else, her feelings, her choices, and her regrets, is beyond your influence, and that's perfectly okay. By letting go of what you can't control, you've freed yourself from the weight of her approval and discovered the strength within. So, where do you go from here? You move forward, regardless of her actions. Whether she reaches out or remains silent, whether she regrets her choices or not, none of it defines your worth. The man you've become during this process is proof that you're capable of thriving, regardless of her actions. You've reclaimed your power, and that's a victory no one can take away. This is your story now. It's not about chasing someone who didn't see your value. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to chase. You've grown, you've endured, and you've emerged stronger. And as you continue on this path, remember, your silence was never just an absence. It was the loudest statement you could make. The journey of strategic silence is, at its heart, a transformative process that extends far beyond the confines of a single relationship. It's a journey of self-discovery, self-respect, and the unwavering pursuit of personal growth. It's about dismantling the societal conditioning that often compels men to seek external validation and instead cultivating an unshakable sense of self-worth that emanates from within. This is not to say that relationships are unimportant or that vulnerability is a weakness. On the contrary, healthy relationships are essential for a fulfilling life, and the ability to connect with others on a deep and meaningful level is a strength. However, the foundation of any successful relationship must be built on a solid foundation of self-awareness, self-respect, and the ability to thrive independently. The strategic use of silence in the context of rejection serves as a catalyst for this transformative process. It forces you to confront your vulnerabilities, to examine your motivations, and to challenge the limiting beliefs that may be holding you back from realizing your full potential. It compels you to redirect your energy away from seeking external validation and toward cultivating a more meaningful and fulfilling life. This is not a passive process. It requires conscious effort, unwavering discipline, and a commitment to personal growth. It involves setting clear boundaries, prioritizing your own well-being, and actively pursuing activities that bring you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. It means investing in your physical health, your mental well-being, and your intellectual development. It means cultivating meaningful relationships with friends and family, pursuing your passions, and contributing to something larger than yourself. As you embark on this journey, you will undoubtedly encounter challenges and setbacks. There will be moments of doubt, moments of temptation, and moments when you question whether your efforts are truly worth it. But it is during these difficult times that your resolve will be tested and your character will be forged. Remember that progress is not always linear. There will be days when you feel like you're taking steps backward, when the old patterns and insecurities resurface. But don't be discouraged. Acknowledge your feelings, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. Every challenge you overcome, every obstacle you surmount, will make you stronger, more resilient, and more confident in your ability to navigate the complexities of life. The ultimate goal of this process is not to win back the person who rejected you or to prove your worth to someone else. The ultimate goal is to become the best version of yourself, a man who is confident, self-assured, emotionally intelligent, and capable of thriving independently. A man who understands his own value and refuses to settle for anything less than he deserves. As you embody these qualities, you will naturally attract positive and fulfilling relationships into your life. People will be drawn to your confidence, your authenticity, and your unwavering commitment to personal growth. You will no longer be defined by your past rejections, but by your future potential. The strategic use of silence is not a magic bullet, nor is it a guaranteed path to rekindling a lost relationship. It is, however, a powerful tool for self-discovery, self-empowerment, and the cultivation of a life that is rich, meaningful, and fulfilling, regardless of your relationship status. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and remember that the greatest reward lies not in the outcome, but in the person you become along the way. This journey also emphasizes the importance of embracing vulnerability in the right context. Strategic silence isn't about becoming emotionally unavailable or building impenetrable walls around your heart. It's about being discerning with your vulnerability, sharing it with those who have earned your trust and respect, and protecting yourself from those who would exploit it. It is about recognizing that true strength lies not in suppressing your emotions, but in understanding them, managing them, and expressing them in a healthy and constructive manner. As you cultivate this emotional intelligence, you will become more attuned to the needs and emotions of others, more empathetic in your interactions, and more capable of building strong and lasting relationships. You will learn to communicate effectively, to listen attentively, and to offer support and understanding without sacrificing your own well-being. Furthermore, this path emphasizes the importance of forgiveness, both of yourself and of others. Holding on to resentment and bitterness will only poison your own spirit and prevent you from moving forward. Forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior, but about releasing yourself from the emotional burden of the past and opening yourself up to the possibility of healing and growth. Forgiving yourself for any perceived mistakes you made in the relationship is crucial. We all make errors in judgment, and it's important to learn from those mistakes without dwelling on them. Treat yourself with the same compassion and understanding you would offer to a friend in a similar situation. Extending forgiveness to the other person, even if they haven't apologized or acknowledged their role in the breakdown of the relationship, is equally important. Holding on to anger and resentment will only keep you tethered to the past and prevent you from embracing the future. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a way to release yourself from the emotional shackles of the past. Finally, remember that healing takes time. There will be good days and bad days, moments of clarity and moments of confusion. Be patient with yourself and allow yourself to grieve the loss of the relationship. Don't try to suppress your emotions, but instead, acknowledge them, process them, and learn from them. Surround yourself with supportive friends and family. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, and seek professional help if needed. There is no shame in seeking therapy or counseling to help you navigate the emotional complexities of a breakup. As you move forward on this journey, remember that you are not alone. Many men have experienced the pain of rejection and have emerged stronger, more resilient, and more self-assured. Draw inspiration from their stories, learn from their experiences, and know that you too are capable of creating a life that is rich, meaningful, and fulfilling, regardless of your relationship status. The key is to embrace strategic silence, not as a weapon or manipulation tactic, but as a powerful tool for self-discovery, self-empowerment, and the unwavering pursuit of your best self. Conclusion. In conclusion, the strategic use of silence after rejection is not merely a tactical maneuver within a relationship. It represents a profound paradigm shift in how a man perceives himself and his interactions with the world. It's a journey of self-discovery, demanding introspection, discipline, and a relentless commitment to personal growth. It's about understanding that your worth isn't determined by the validation of another, but is inherent and unshakable within you. We've explored the detrimental consequences of chasing, the erosion of personal power, the reinforcement of dependence, and the ultimate pushing away of the desired connection. In contrast, we've unveiled the multifaceted power of silence, not as a tool for manipulation or revenge, but as a catalyst for self-control, emotional regulation, and the reclamation of inner strength. We've dissected the stages of her reaction to your silence. The initial indifference, the subtle signs of emptiness, the rising tide of discomfort, the struggle to fill the void, and the inevitable arrival of regret. Understanding these stages allows you to anticipate her behavior, resist the urge to break your silence prematurely, and remain grounded in your commitment to self-improvement. We've emphasized the ethical considerations surrounding the use of silence, stressing that it should never be employed with malicious intent. Instead, it should be viewed as a means of creating space for both you and the other person to gain clarity, reflect on the situation, and make informed decisions with integrity and respect. We've explored the core principles of Stoicism, highlighting the importance of focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and reactions, and accepting what you cannot, the thoughts, feelings, and actions of others. This Stoic framework provides a valuable foundation for navigating the emotional complexities of rejection and maintaining a sense of inner peace amidst external turmoil. We've underscored the importance of self-reliance, building a fulfilling life independent of any single relationship. This involves setting clear boundaries, prioritizing your own well-being, pursuing your passions, and cultivating meaningful connections with friends and family. By investing in your own growth and happiness, you become a more attractive and well-rounded individual, capable of thriving regardless of your relationship status. We've highlighted the transformative power of vulnerability, emphasizing that it should be expressed with discernment and shared with those who have earned your trust and respect. True strength lies not in suppressing your emotions, but in understanding them, managing them, and expressing them in a healthy and constructive manner. We've addressed the importance of forgiveness, both of yourself and of others. Holding on to resentment and bitterness will only poison your own spirit and prevent you from moving forward. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a way to release yourself from the emotional burden of the past and open yourself up to the possibility of healing and growth. Ultimately, mastering the power of strategic silence is about becoming a more grounded, self-assured, and emotionally intelligent man. It's about understanding that your worth is not defined by external validation and that true strength lies in the ability to control your emotions, set boundaries, and prioritize your own well-being. It's about embracing vulnerability in the right context, forgiving yourself and others, and moving forward with grace, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to your best self. So, embrace the silence. Embrace the discomfort. Embrace the journey of self-discovery. For in the quiet depths of your own being, you will find the strength, the confidence, and the self-worth to create a life that is truly extraordinary. This isn't just about surviving rejection. It's about thriving in its aftermath and emerging as a stronger, more complete version of yourself. And remember, this journey is ongoing. It's a continuous process of self-improvement, requiring constant vigilance, introspection, and a willingness to challenge your own limiting beliefs. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way, but with each obstacle you overcome, you will become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of navigating the complexities of life with grace and confidence. The power of strategic silence lies not in its ability to manipulate or control others, but in its ability to transform you. It's a tool for self-empowerment, a catalyst for personal growth, and a pathway to a life that is rich, meaningful, and fulfilling, regardless of your relationship status. Embrace the silence, embrace the journey, and embrace the extraordinary potential that lies within you. The world awaits the man you are destined to become.